everyone, it's Annette Green here, and I am surrounded by leaves. And this is week 31 of 2024. Each week I do a crafty or craft related video, and this week I am going to play around on my gel plate and do some leaf printing, and I'm just having an idea here. Alright, so it's just going to be a playtime kind of video, so I hope you enjoy it. I have my 5x7 gel plate from Jelly Arts, and I have a roller here somewhere, and I have a whole bunch of paint all around me here, and I have all these leaves. So the purpose will be to make some collage paper. Now it's going to be small, so that's fine. I can use this for backgrounds to cards, put it in my art journal, my sketchbook, what have you. So I've just used a little bit of unbleached titanium and a very soft yellow, which is Naples Yellow Hue. I always use the Liquitex brand, the basic acrylics like this from my local craft store. And if you didn't know this, just want to point this out. If you're new to using paints or even using the jelly plate, when you buy paints, hopefully the paint that you buy has some sort of indicator on the transparency or translucency, let's say, or opacity, any of the above. And if you see a square like this on this particular brand and it's half marked out in black, that means it's sort of half translucent. Has partial opacity, but also you can see through it, which is helpful when you're doing jelly printing. Whereas this one with the solid block, this is an opaque color. You're not going to see through that. You know, if you go super light, you might, but it is going to block out some things. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull a print, and I'm going to get some of that rice paper. You saw my colors are on here. Okay, so there's a lovely little base print for that one. We'll let that dry for a minute. There's just very little on here to work with left over, so we're not going to try to do anything with that. You can always try a ghost print, but I think it's just going to be a little bit too light. So now we're going to take this light olive green, and you notice these bottles. This paint is the same as the Liquitex. I've just purchased some bottles from Amazon, and I want to show you my little tray. I showed this in a recent video. I have this bottle drying rack basically, but I'm storing my paints in there upside down, so I don't have to keep flipping them over and waiting for the paint to run down to the nozzle, you know. So it's kind of helpful to have that drying rack like that. Okay, so you can see that's a very, very light coat of that bright green. I don't think it's going to do much, so I'm going to add a little more of, this one is going to be a hooker's green hue, a little bit deeper, just a little bit. I don't want it to be super dark. And we can always add a little bit of this other one that I don't even want to try to say. That one. Hard to say. So just a little bit of that, I think. And we'll get that mixed in with that bright green we already have on there. And no need to really blend. Like, I like that blotchy look. So we're going to leave it like that. And now we will press some of these in here. And I want to press it so that all the veins and the stem and all that is pressing down into the paint. I'm going to take a sheet of scrap here, and it is going to lift up some of this, but I just want to kind of use this to press. Okay, not too bad. I could go back in here with a little paint. It's actually going to pull some of that up. Oh, that's kind of interesting though. See, this is one of those happy accidents. So let's put a little yellow up there, because I think we're going to pull two prints here. Let's try it. Like I said, this is going to be a playtime today. So I'll put a little bit of yellow with the green in it there. And let's try a new sheet instead of putting that same one in there. And we'll leave the leaf right on there. You can use another brayer, but I do have this Speedball Baron, they call it, which I do see a lot of people using when they're doing gel prints, especially something that's kind of thick and needs a lot of pressure. Has a nice smooth bottom to it. So let's see what we get just with that, right on there with the leaf. Okay, nothing spectacular, but this is not a total loss, so we'll come back to that. But now we have this really pretty ghost print of the leaf, and we can use this over and over if we're careful. So I'm going to let that dry a little bit. We're going to put a little bit, maybe a little bit of blue on that, and then we're going to pull a print on that first sheet that we pulled, that basic yellow. Okay, and the reason why some of these paints are in the tubes and some are in the bottles is because I put in another order for the bottles and they are not here yet. So, but this is this is why I like the bottles better than the tubes, because the cap gets in the way oftentimes with the tubes. So I just did 2 different shades of blue, and these are pretty opaque. I'm going to try to concentrate some of that darker blue down here, and then some of this lighter up here. And we still have that leaf underneath there, and I'm making sure this is nice and thin because it is such an opaque paint. Okay, so I'm going to try to line this up pretty well with what I already did. It's not important, it's not super critical here. You can always use the placement tool from Jelly Arts, which you've seen if you watched any of my reels. I have used that quite a bit to line up print after print after print, so the layers all line up together. And just the short amount of time that it took to kind of clean up around here and get some fresh paper and to select my next color, and also to tape down my nonstick craft sheet because it was just sliding all over the place. That's how long I'm going to let that sit before I peel this up, and it looks like it's going to peel everything up beautifully. And that is gorgeous. I love that. Beautiful. Beautiful as is, or more can be done. But for now I'm going to stop. I'm going to go back to this other one and see if we can do something fun to it. It is turquoise blue. And, oof, see, that's so much. And then look at... That's why I have the bottles. So I'm going to take that off, a lot of that off, and stick it right up there. Maybe I can use that again here in a bit. But I also want to mix some of that other blue that I had, and this one is light blue permanent. Okay. Kind of mix that up. Okay, and I'm not going to just lay that on there because that'll just cover up everything we already have over here. What I think we'll do is we'll pick a different leaf. So this one, even though it's kind of chewed up, we don't care. That's cool. We'll go a different angle with this one and give it a press all over. I think we get the stems in there. We could, this one has been sitting around a bit, so it's starting to get really soft, but we could do that one. Okay, looks good. All right, so this time we're just going to peel this up and get a print. Oh, interesting. Get a print from that, hopefully. This might not be able to be used again. We'll see. And we will do a little something to this guy. Okay, that's been sitting there for a bit. Ooh, that's super fun. Love that. I want to do a little bit more to this, and I know just what I want to do, but I want to let that sit for just a minute. So let's try, I want to use some more of that blue, and I want to make another base, but let's try a little bit of a blue and green mix right from the start. So then we're back to the Hooker's green. And just for fun, I think I'll add in some of that light olive. I'm going to do that at the top here. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a blend. I like, when I'm working with these bottles, I do like to keep a baby wipe handy just to clean off the tip, because I do find that it does want to kind of clog a little. All right, so there's that blue, so it didn't go to waste. I still have some more up there. We'll see if we need that later. I'm getting real messy. All right, so this is pretty clean. Work our way down. You can't go back up to the top really unless you clean it really, really well. So you can do that. Yeah, see, almost went up there again. Don't want to do that really. That's cool. That's a nice blend. Okay, but so what I want to do this time is I've got this really fun and funky stamp. This is from Cat Kerr. Joggles Foam Stamps by Cat Kerr down in Florida. Grunge Rounds is what this is called. And I just got it. Haven't tried it at all. I just want to try it. So I'm going to press it right in here. Make a little pattern. Oh, I can tell you right now, I love it. Do a little bit of that just for fun. And we can do it on something we've already done, but I'm going to start a new one. And let's switch over to that tan. Toned tan. Is this one piece? Yes. Okay. Toned tan. Let's see what we get here. Okay. Oh, man. I love it on this paper. Because really, it's like you have another color base, because you have this base. It's like you already have your built-in color layer down before you even did this. So that's super fun. This little 4x6 cutie over here. And we're just going to put it off to the side and use it as a mixing palette. A lot of people do this, so that's always kind of fun. Because I'm having an idea. I want to use that cool, oh jeez. I want to use that cool stamp as a stamp. This thing. That's a lot, but that's okay. We're over here mixing. Off to the side. That just looks like one shade of orange, but maybe if we put a little bit of a yellow. Oh, I have this gold. Yellow oxide. That could be interesting. Gold. Just gold. Oh, just don't drop a lot. Okay. Ooh, okay. Okay. Maybe we won't mix a ton of that in. See what we get. Okay, now we can take, let's say, I really like this one, but I think it'll work. I'm just going to lay it on my jelly plate, and I'm going to use this as a pick it up place so I get some paint on there. Let's see if we get anything at all. And the reason why I like doing this on the jelly plate, the stamping, is because you get that bit of cushion. So I didn't want it to be super dark. Let's see if we can get it to be kind of subtle. Okay, very, very subtle. Not great. So here's what we can do. Let's do this again. Oh, well, I have a lot of that over here, don't I? Is that color? I don't remember. No. Gosh, what a mess. It is playtime. Okay, what I meant to do is not press the stamp into this so much as to roll this color onto my stamp. Let's get a little bit of that gold. Little. This is a mixing palette. Okay, and I can lay this down, but just so you can see what I'm doing, now I can roll this on here. And I'm going to get a lot more on here doing it this way. I think. I hope. We'll see. We'll see, we'll see. All right, let's try that again. Ugh. Okay, much better, much better. Yes, that's cool. Can I get any more off of there? Maybe we'll do a little corner down here. Okay, that's super cool. Love that. Really cool. Okay, what would happen if we dip this in there? I don't want a ton, I just want a little. That's kind of fun. Interesting. It's playtime. We don't judge. Okay. I would still do more to that, but you can see that there's a little bit of a sheen to it because of the gold. So very interesting. Okay, let's say that you considered this a total loss. I don't. I look at it and I do see potential still. So let's see how we can save it. One thing you can do is, because I don't care, you know, it's all right, but I don't care for this kind of orangey blob here. Let's see if we can save it by, I'm going to select this very cool, it's a stencil and mask set from Joggles. So you can see that these pieces are not only like masks, but they are also stencils, so you can work with them together or independently. And so I see that when I put this down here, most of my blob is over here to the right. So I want to put some paint through my stencil, this little guy over here, right onto my jelly plate. Because I like kind of what the rest of this is going on here, but I do want to kind of tone down that weird orange place. And I think I'm going to make it fairly dark. I'm going to go with this primary blue. Okay, I feel like there's a lot on there now. Okay, we'll peel this up. Beautiful. And let's see. We want this over here. Let's see what we can do here. So I'm going to let that sit for a bit, clean up a little bit, and we'll pull that print. You could pull something off of this one for sure. And we might as well, since it's wet and it's over here. So I'm going to grab another piece of something. I think I'll do a little wet strength tissue this time. And we're going to use the mask portion of that same set. Okay, I'm just having a thought. I'm going to take this wet strength tissue and I'm going to put it over here on a blank piece. You can't really see it. I'm rolling off a little bit of that blue. Okay, onto my tissue. And since I did the same blue, I think I'll do just a little bit of the hooker's green just to get a little more darkness in that blue. And I'll grab the mask part of that same piece and we'll lay that there. Okay, no need to really push it down. And hopefully you can see over here what's happening, but I am going to take that tissue and lay it right into there with that mask in place. We can get a lot of prints from playing with two at once like this. First we'll pull this one up. This is the one we did that camouflaging back of that orange blob, and I do like that quite a bit. I could still do more too, but I like that. So saved. It's not junk anymore. All right, let's see what this looks like. This is kind of fun. And this, of course, could use another layer. I didn't get quite high enough up there, but that's pretty cool. Okay, and then we can pull that up, and that gorgeous thing is left over. That's cool, but I am going to wash that. So now we have to decide what kind of base do we want. So let's make a base over here. And we'll go back with the wet strength tissue. That's one of my favorites. And let's just do a little yellow oxide. And just for fun, just a little texture, I'm going to use that same foamy stamp from Ketker. And let's pull a print. I think this is still going to be okay. We'll find out. Okay, that's cool all by itself. Now, do I have to let that dry? I don't know. We're going to just go for it and see what happens. I have no idea. This is what it's all about, but I am going to just really let that sit before I peel that one up. While we're waiting for that to dry, let's do some cadmium red light hue. I'm looking at this one. I want to do more to this one, but I want to block out quite a lot of that orange paint, so I'm going to use my fern again. And you can see that you can use real stuff and you can use stencil masking stuff. Doesn't matter. Okay. While that's sitting, I think what we'll do is grab a little scrap. I don't think this is going to be something I want, so I'm just going to use this messy scrap that I had. Just give this a push. I mean, you never know. Maybe it'll turn out fabulous, but I'm thinking this is just going to be a negative kind of image. I'm trying to get that imprinted into the orange. Yeah, so, you know, I probably won't use that for anything, but the point is to make this happen, which is cool. And that's quite wet. So where's that piece I wanted to put that in? This one here. Ooh, let's see what happens. Every time I do these, can you tell I'm a little nervous, but in an excited sort of way? Because if you've done any gel printing at all, you know it's hardly a predictable art form, and that's the fun of it. All right, while that sits there, let's check this guy. This could be a hot mess. You don't know. Okay, interesting. It's debatable on whether it's a keeper or not, but I will keep it for a moment. Let's check this one. Oh, that's kind of cool. Interesting. Quite nice, actually. Really kind of interesting. Okay. All right, let's try some other colors, and now we're going to go back to this tone tan paper. This is medium magenta. We'll start with that as our light color. Lord. Okay, and just to give it a little bit of texture, just a little bit of bubble wrap, lift some of that up before we do our first print. Okay, cool. Let's go a little bit darker this time. Let's go with, what do we got here? Oh gosh, this turquoise might be interesting on top of that. Let's see. I'm not going to mix a bunch this time. I'm just going to go with solid colors and just add texture. This is fairly opaque, right? Yeah, this is opaque. So let's thin that down a bit more. Okay. And let's grab some different, ooh, that's a big leaf. Okay, let's grab some smaller leaves over here. Got some really big ones, but I got some smaller ones. So we'll press that one. Grab some wet strength tissue. Don't know what I did with that orange one I did. But I'm wondering if we can get those to work into some other plan. Okay, I'm really pressing the leaves. I'm pressing the veins. That's nothing much right now. Maybe later. And then we'll peel these up gently. Such a cool look. Okay. Very cool. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just going to go for it. I was going to say, really, you should put some paint on here to get a really good print, but I think if we just give it some good pressure, we could get something here. Take a peek. Oh, okay. Ooh, that's fun. Okay, one more thing I want to do. Now we're going to go with some Prism Violet, which is very dark. And because I've moved these paints from the tubes to these bottles, I'm not sure that I remember who's fully opaque and who isn't. Sometimes you can tell. This one looks like it's half kind of semi-permanent or semi-transparent. You can just tell. Okay, that's cool. Now we're going to take some really big leaves. Now with that on there, that's masking out those areas. Let's see what we can get here. This is that same print that we just did 2 layers on, the pink and the blue. Okay, let's see. Okay. It's kind of interesting. Kind of. But this will be even more fun. This. Okay, I let that dry. And I think I'm going to try to work with this again. Remember, I was like, that's nothing. Let's actually see if we can make it something. So that was that purple color. And we're working onto blue. So what's another color we want to work with that? Maybe this. Okay, so the bottom layer is dry. Now we're adding our aqua. You can still see that leaf print in the base there. That's good. Okay. And just so it's not terribly opaque, I'm going to take my big old sponge here and put a little texture into that. Now we'll put it on here and see what happens. This is definitely one of those ones we're going to have to let it sit. So I'm going to go wash my hands, get a sip of water, and then we'll peel it up. Okay. Hands are sort of clean. Let's see what we got here. Ooh. Okay. That I like very much. So we saved it. Isn't that nice? You got a little bit of that texture in there. You've got the leaves showing through. You've got different blues. That sponge. Very nice. Well, if we saved that one, maybe we can save this one. Remember this one? I found it. Okay, let's do something to that. I believe we'll start with a light yellow. This is Naples yellow hue. A little bit of yellow, just very light. That's very light. Maybe not that light. Let's go a little bit more. Let's go with the, actually I like this over here. Yellow oxide. Just a bit. So much. Just for some texture is my little rug hooking piece of plastic stuff here. And I just press it in there to get a little texture. It gives it sort of a burlap look. Okay. And we'll go right to this guy with this. Just that alone. I think that'll be kind of cool. Okay. Already good. Looks kind of cool. All right. Now we need to go a little bit deeper. So I think since I have some, I'll use some of that same yellow, but then add a little bit of Naphthol Crimson is. It's sort of a red. We got a little of that yellow in there, so that'll be nice. Okay. kind of mix that up. Forgot to turn the camera back on, but I'm just kind of doing some mark making with my brayer here, just to give it its own pattern or texture. And now we will take something fun like this. Let's see if we can get anything to happen here. This is really very thin. So what I want to do maybe is grab another sheet of scrap paper and really push on this. Okay, I'm very excited. I hope this works. Let's see what we get here. Ooh, ooh, I like that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, we kind of lost a lot of what was under there to start with, but I'm okay with that. That's pretty neat. Remember this one? Let's see what we can do there. That was that purple prism violet. We're going to do some more of that. And maybe even this light blue violet. I haven't even opened this yet. That is very opaque, so we won't do a ton of that. Ooh, baby. Much too much. But that's the beauty of having two plates going at once, you know? Okay, back to the big leaves. So this time, rather than doing the mask, we're going to just make a print with the big leaves. And let's do it this way. We'll pull that print just to get those pressed in there really well. We don't want all that extra purple that's in the background. We just want the ghost print that's left behind from the leaves pressed in there. Okay, so we got all that purple off. That's excellent. Cool. Okay, we can go right to this. It's pretty wet. Do we need to add anything else? I don't think so. I think we're going to go for it. And see what we got over here. I mean, to me, this is getting more fun. I like this now. Because I'm not a real big purple and pink fan. So to get a little more depth in there, a little more layers, kind of helps. I like it. I just peeled this up without waiting for you. Sorry. But I like it. I like it. A lot. That's a keeper. It's going to waste here. Oh, I just love this stamp. I'm so glad I got it. This is just a piece of wet strength with nothing on it yet. Wet strength tissue. And let's peel this cool thing up. Yeah, this is like my favorite stamp ever. That's a very cool base. That's drying. I'm going to play with this. I love that so much. Let's do a little bit of that cadmium red light. Oh. Slap this mask on there and maybe get a little texture in there. And then do this. Okay, let's see what we get here. This is fun. Oh my gosh. This is a favorite. That. That's fun. I like that a lot. That's a favorite today. Okay, let's just do one more with what we have left here, and then I just really need to clean up and get something to eat. Let's go a little earthy. Raw sienna. Raw sienna on orange. Let's see, this is opaque, so not too much. Not too much. Oh, it's pretty orangey itself, but we'll see. You can always do more layers, but I tend to want to put just a little bit of burnt umber. This is pretty dark brown. Just gonna put some, maybe around the edges. I don't know. See what happens. That's the beauty of it. Got the rice paper. Just a brand new piece here. This guy's in my way. Ooh, kind of earthy. Ooh, I like it. I do like that very much. Okay, that's it for me today. I've got all these fun prints now and collage papers to use as I wish, to die cut, to tear, to cut apart. And I hope you enjoyed watching me experiment today. Hope maybe you learned a little something new. And I appreciate you watching. So I'll see you next week in the next crafty video.